Welcome back, everyone. This is the final hour of the conference today. Just a reminder, information about how to submit questions and how to access French captions can be found in the chat. Our first speaker this hour is Rizwana Kadernani. Rizwana was born with Ehlers Danlos Syndrome that limits all aspects of her life, such as mobility, vision, and the ability to live independently. She is passionate about using her limitations to spread awareness and make positive changes for people living with disabilities. Welcome, Rizwana.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Rizwana, and I would definitely like to thank this platform for giving me an opportunity. And I'm going to try to stay on time. So let's see. This is Rizwana, and I would like to share the barriers I experienced at the Grand Canyon National Park. Next slide, please. The national parks are collector treasures meant to be enjoyed by everyone. Next slide. Unfortunately, accessibility is often limited for many people with disabilities, creating an unfair and imbalanced situation. The majesty of national parks often cannot be enjoyed by everyone equally. Next slide. I have personally experienced the struggle firsthand when I visited Grand Canyon National Park earlier this year. Next slide. While the park itself is lovely, I still felt that the mobility as a wheelchair and crutch user, I was always restricted, which that stifled my experience. Next slide. I understand that making a national park itself accessible without compromising their beauty is a challenge, given the rugged terrain, the wildlife, sheer size of many parks. Nevertheless, the common sense steps that should be taken making our national parks truly enjoyable for everyone. Next slide. The ramps and boardwalks have been put in places in many visitor centers and related facilities as accessible restrooms. But this process, however, is not universal and needs to be more widely implemented globally. Next slide. Additionally, my family and I struggled at many points to get my wheelchair over to viewing points along the way. A system of renting all-terrain wheelchairs or scooters can go a long way towards greater independence and mobility for individuals with disabilities. Next slide. Finally, the basic information about accessibility of facilities is always listed online, but this information can be out of date easily, necessitating a last-minute scramble for everyone. Ensuring that greater emphasis is placed in updating information in real time on the website is crucial. The National Park Service can reduce the stress and hassle for everyone. Next slide, please. Finally, enjoying the national park in the United States and Canada are a huge part of our common heritage itself, and nobody should feel like that they cannot take part of it. I will never forget the awe I felt as I looked into the vastness of the Grand Canyon, and I really hope that that awe itself is something that everyone has the opportunity to feel and understand. Any other questions?
Thank you, Rizwana. We do have a question that came in. Someone was wondering if you have had a chance to use an all-terrain wheelchair in the past.
For the beach, I have, but not for the terrain itself or the national park itself. I have not been able to use it because I've never got access to it. But I definitely would like to get that opportunity if I could.
Yes, absolutely. I know a kind of complication or a challenge that we've heard about in the past is that when there's all-terrain wheelchairs to rent or borrow, there's not always a safe location for people to leave their personal devices. Is that sort of a challenge that you've seen, or have you seen parks come up with solutions?
I have seen, and the reason behind is one thing that I we need to create awareness is, as a user of a wheelchair, when you're using a manual wheelchair or a electrical wheelchair, you know, so either someone's pushing you or you're being pushed, but they know how to do it. The terrain wheelchair are different. It needs an employee or someone who already has used that before, because once again, it's a terrain wheelchair, and if you use it yourself or someone, a family member who does not have an experience with that, it can become very dangerous because again, the platform is not flat and it's imbalanced, and each individual's weight is different, which can create dangers for the individual is sitting in the terrain wheelchair. So that I have seen that, and I have seen many difficulties, but I believe it can be done if that service is there with an individual, trained individual.
Absolutely. And I think that really speaks to like the staff training aspect of accessibility.
Exactly.
Awesome. We've had another question. Was when visiting the Grand Canyon, were the most common or easy trails and lookout points fully or accessibly?
No.
Partially accessible? Yeah.
No, there is actually a map which I can send it to you guys. It does say, it will tell you on the map accessible or not accessible, but not major points were not accessible. And the time that I had the opportunity to go was right after COVID. It was early in February during my birthday, and there was still snow. It was still a lot of snow. So a lot of points were closed due to COVID. And another was because of snow and weather. And they will let you know when you go into the desk. The first thing we did is we went to the desk, the front desk, and they will let you know ahead of time. Are you interested in going or not? Because of certain parts of the park was closed. So you cannot see the whole park itself. So they will let you know. And if they don't, they should be able to provide you the reasons behind it. You let them know ahead of time what kind of wheelchair you're using, and they will point out certain areas that are would be fully accessible for that wheelchair or walker or crutches.
That's awesome. It sounds like there's a decent amount of communication then with that park staff.
It is, which we found it very surprising, because there is a writing, there is a signs, but not every stop has those signs. Certain stops do not have a wheelchair accessible sign or a walker sign, but certain do. So we figured out more signs would be helpful for a lot of people, especially for individuals who do not speak English.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We had a question come in from one of the audience members. Craig asks, the ADA has specific requirements in national parks. Did you find the parking and the toilet facilities were adequate?
As I said, there were not that many people, so the parking was really great. And we used the car. We took our car inside the park, which you have the choice to do that. And because they gave me a choice to use their bus or the car itself, because I use my own wheelchair, I chose the car aspect of it because walking was out of question for me. And the bathroom, not every bathroom was open due to COVID again. A lot of bathrooms were locked and were not accessible. And even though they may have been accessible, but they were locked for over a year. So I do not know. The ones I used, they were full because, and we tried, because I know my limit, I try to go to the bathroom where I feel comfortable in. And not many people have that opportunity. They cannot do that. But I would definitely ask at the front desk which bathrooms are accessible and how deep, because the park itself is vast. It goes in a lot of acres. So. And one thing we did see there is not a lot of staff placed inside when you go too deep. There's not a lot of staff and a lot of security. Also, we don't know. We did see a lot of cameras, but we don't know if the cameras were working or not. Again, we were told due to COVID. So we were taking, they told my brothers who were with me and my mom, that they were responsible for me throughout the whole time.
Right. Yeah. So being able to go with people is a pretty major facilitator in access for you. We had another question come in from the audience, and they're asking if there are things that able-bodied folks and visitors can do at national parks to make the experience more inclusive and accessible. And I think this is sort of speaking to those social and attitudinal barriers that people sometimes face.
Yes. One thing is, ask them. Ask individuals who have a disability, what do they need? And they'll be honest with you. A lot of people think holding doors is good. And yes, it is. It's helpful, but many people would not do that. So yes, ask them. They will let you know. Make a lot of space. Don't park between parkings, because when we use a wheelchair, it's hard to get the wheelchair out of the car. Make sure there are enough. If there's a handicap place card, or you see an individual with a disability using a wheelchair, don't park right next to them. Give them some space, and let them know that if there's something they can do to help your journey and experience enhanced, and they will let you know. A lot of us are very vocal.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I think we've got time for another question here. Kristen is asking if you've been to any other national parks, either in the US or Canada, and how would the Grand Canyon compare?
Yes, I've been to Niagara Falls. That's a park itself, but that was before COVID. I have not been after COVID. That is one of my things to go, to places to go, to visit, to all the parks and places that have previously been before COVID and after COVID, to see, because I've been told a lot of places have become more accessible and or unaccessible due to COVID reasons or financial reasons from the grant from the state or the country, which I do want to go through all of them again and see. So I would definitely say, yes, there are differences. At that time before COVID, Niagara Falls was, I went through New York aspect of it. So that was accessible. I have not been through Canada aspect of it, which I definitely is the goal for this year. So I cannot speak from that part, but from New York aspect of it, it was pretty accessible for wheelchairs. I don't know about electrical wheelchairs, but for manual wheelchairs, it was. And there were signs at that time, but then again, that was before COVID. And I don't know how it has been the last 3 or 4 years. I can't speak for that.
Absolutely. Well, that kind of brings me to one final question then. And it's, what sort of resources, like the website or phoning the park, and what sort of checklist might you be going through before you'd make the decision to go to the park? Like, what are some of the things that you need to know before you can visit?
Look at their website. Their website is key. Any park that you go, look it for 3 months. See how it's changing, because they do update their website pretty frequently. Give them a call. And if you have a specific day, let them know you're coming ahead of time. Let them know. They will put your name as RSVP. And especially if you have a disability, they will know. They will ask you what kind of accessibility that you need. And it's better, even if they don't remember you, they will still know that they'll be aware. Some employee will be aware that you had called, you took your time to contact them and make that commitment and that network. Use that network as your strength. Contact them, email them. We did not do that, unfortunately, but we did look at their website 1 month ahead of time, and we visited their website once a week, and they were making changes. And some websites depending on the population of that park, it does get frequently updated, but not as updated as real time, unfortunately.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. These have been some amazing
Thank you.
ideas and suggestions for people to take away with them. I think we're running out of time, so we'll collect the rest of the questions and email them to you to
Thank you.
respond.
Thank
So
you.
thank you, Rizwana.